information, some of these solar flares, of heat with you all as well. And let me see, close this. I don't want to see that right there. Welcome in, peace, love, and light. If you've been through, go ahead and tap them hearts, tap them hearts. I am an energy alchemist. I come here to alchemize the energies, the frequencies. Speaking of, this new moon energy is on 10. Go ahead and send some hearts, because the more we tap up and tap the hearts, we get the algorithms going, and we help those who are on our frequency find our frequency so they can align with us in time on this frequency. Welcome to 5D. This is 5D, the fifth dimension, where I always be. It's never no other place to be but in 5D. So we're going to talk about this full moon, this new moon. But what I'm sharing, if you're looking for the video, the details of the video is a cosmic graduation. And the details of this cosmic graduation are in my YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel, Celestial Earth. And it's going to be titled A Cosmic Graduation. Ashe. So, and that'll give you the full details of the waning moon phase. I don't know how many of you are aware of the moon phases, but this is the first time that I gave details on a moon phase particularly, because I wanted to highlight the full moon into the new moon. Like, I felt like I can't talk about this new moon without getting into the full moon, right? Particularly with the information, the crown loads I've been getting about this moon in Gemini. I have never seen Gemini like this before. This is like a whole new world on 10 of Gemini. And I'm not talking about the sign. I'm not talking about zodiacally speaking, astrology, horoscopes. I'm talking about the cosmic. There go the wind. That's the wisdom in the wind. And speaking of wisdom, that's what we're talking about with Gemini split in understanding, overstanding, and understanding Gemini. So let me ask some of y'all while I got y'all here. Welcome in, tap the hearts for those of you who are here. How many of you know what the Gemini symbolism represents? I'll wait. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about something else in the meantime, but I want you to drop it in the chat. Yes or no? Do you know what the Gemini the meaning represents for Gemini? Let me see how many of y'all are aware of this, because this has had me, and I know some of us look at Gemini like, ooh, like we be running from them Geminis, but like I said, this is not about horoscopes. And by the way, you are not your sun sign. You are more than your sun sign. The sun sign is just how you show up in the outer world. Like I often tell people, tell me about that moon. Tell me what that moon do, right? Because the moon sign, ooh, bring it in, wisdom in the wind. The moon sign is what highlights who we really are. The moon is our inner world. The moon is who you are in the inner world, in your emotional aspect. That is your moon. That's why when people tell me they sun sign, I like to ask them, what's your moon sign? Tell me what your moon is, because that moon will show you who really is who on the inside, right? Not just what you see showing up on the outside. And not only that, it's good to know your north node and your south node. The four signs, the four things that I always tell people to look out for is that sun, moon, north node, south node. If you don't know anything else on your natal chart, if you don't know anything else, know your sun and moon, not just your sun, and know your north node and your south node, because your south node is going to tell you where you're coming from, and your north node is going to tell you where you're going. Welcome in, peace, love, and light. For those who are coming in, go ahead and tap that heart so more people can find the frequencies and the algorithms and join us in on this cosmic graduation as we go in about what we're graduating from. And this is a beautiful new moon that is highlighting so much of what is happening in the atmosphere, in the energetic atmosphere, in the energetic exchange of it all, right? So for those who don't know, welcome. I'm Celestial Earth, bringing you the news from the celestials into the earth, which is ideally what we're talking about with the new moon and activating the codes within us, because your natal chart is your spiritual blueprint. Right? This is why I tell people, please get to know your natal chart. If you need a natal reading, come see me. If you want a one-on-one, we can get you to understanding your natal chart so you can know your spiritual blueprint. Now, for those who don't know, the the alchemy that I do, alchemizing energy, any type of energy, whether it's your energy centers, which I mainly work with that more than anything, are your energy centers, what some people call your chakras, right? And so when I work with the full moon, by the way, we got a full moon workshop coming up. I do it quarterly, so the next one is with the next upcoming full moon. We do that 7 days, and we work with the energy of the celestials, meaning the sun and the moon, because the moon operates as a cosmic spotlight, highlighting all the dysfunctions that we need to know and bringing that up into our consciousness, bringing it from the subconscious mind into the conscious phase of mind. So when we go through this full moon, I utilize the energy of the full moon and ride it like a wave, like an energetic wave. Like it's like, here's the big wave coming. Let's get your surfboard and ride it, because essentially that's what's happening. When a full moon is coming, it's either you're going to sink under the waves and go under, or you're going to grab that surfboard and you're going to ride the energetic waves, right? A lot of people sink because they don't know what's going on. They just get all annoyed, right? And a lot of times people who do kind of know will say, oh, it must be that full moon. You know, we look at the werewolf thing, oh, they werewolfing, or it must be that full moon. If you do your research, every time anybody who works in a mental facility, the behaviors and the episodes go up around a full moon. If you do the work, any of you who work in social work, right, you'll see that the episodes go up. So that full moon, when you work on you, when you allow that full moon, there's a difference between people who are not aware and people who are aware. When that full moon comes up, you tap in. You tap into that full moon and you ride that energy wave, and you allow the cosmic light, the cosmic spotlight of that full moon to highlight to you what is coming up inside of you, because it's all you, right? It's energy in motion in you. And this is how we utilize the energy centers, because we do 7 days with the full moon, starting 3 days before and lasting 3 days after, going from the root up into the crown. So this is the work that I'm generally working on when I do full moon work. For those who are asking, or those who may have said, how can I do this, or certain questions where you may have had, now would be the time to sign up for a full moon workshop, a 7-day workshop. The investment that you put in you is how you're going to come through. This is part of the pre-portaling work that I'm always talking about. What are you doing before these portals? Have you done any soul work? Have you tapped into your soul? Right? Because when we do these workshops, it is a way to unlock your soul code. How so? Because you're tapping into your subconscious, and your subconscious is the heart of your soul, right? So there's a lot that we can do to align with the signs of times, besides just sitting by and being a bystander and going, well, I don't know what's going on, when it's a lot going on, right? It's a whole lot going on, right? Tap, tap, tap it up. Tap up the hearts. Thank you. Welcome those who are coming in. If we tap up the hearts, we get the algorithms going to help those who are on this frequency find this frequency, because some of us need this information right now. Some of us want to know what's going on. How are we aligning? This new moon aligning for us, right? And I did a video, so you could check that video out, whether you see it here or there's a detailed video on YouTube that's really going into what's happening with the new moon in Gemini that we just had last night, right? Depending on where you are in the world, for some people that new moon may have been early this morning, the wee hours of this morning. But what are we looking at Gemini as? This is what I want to break down for some of us. If you have any questions, put it in the chat. Or what I want to ask you, thank you for those of you that are coming through. Does anybody know the meaning of Gemini? Does anybody know the meaning of what Gemini represents? Because this is the big crown load that I would say that I got with this particular waning moon, right? And thank you for the answer I had asked earlier. Thank you. So some may know, some don't. So no. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna break that down for you. But first, let me share what these moon phases are and what they mean for us. First of all, it's good to know that the moon and the sun is inside of you. Let's lock that in for a moment, right? It's not outside of you. This is why I did the ebook, The Cosmos in Me. because we really got to get to a point where we understand that as above, so below. We say it a lot, right? As above, so below. As within, so without. So as the cosmos exists on the outside, so it does within. Every bit of it is in alignment with you. And particularly the sun and the moon, which are the luminaries of our solar system. It is also the luminaries in our consciousness. It is the subconscious and the conscious state of mind. All right, so let's lock that in. The moon represents the subconscious as the feminine energy, and the sun represents the conscious as the masculine energy. So when we understand, overstand, and understand that, we recognize the dance and the harmony between the sun and the moon. It's not just something to watch out there or to join in a ritual, right? Even though rituals are good, they help bridge us from the invisible to the physical, to the visible. They help us in manifestation. So, but it is good when you know what it is inside of you. So it's a dance. It's a transcend dance. We're transcending in a dance through the cosmos and time, through the dimensions in our mind. It is the intercourse in our soul. It is the intercourse in our mind. When we can bring the light, the inner world, which is the moon, into the outer world, which is the sun. That's what the sun represents. Ooh, thank you for that wisdom in the wind. So every time we have a sun and moon, it's not just something we're spectating and looking at on the outside and trying to figure out how can I jump in. It's really to recognize how it's already in you on the inside. And what is it saying to you on the inside? What is the message that you're getting with the sun and moon, right? And so the phases play a really key part as well, because the phases, meaning the moon phases, right? So as we're talking about the new moon, we just had a new moon in Gemini. Let's look at the phase. A moon cycle is one complete cycle, right? From one new moon to the next. Within that cycle, you have 2 halves and 4 quarters, just like a football game, right? You have 2 halves, you have 4 quarters. So the first half, from the new moon, from the first new moon to the full moon, is called the waxing phase. You're waxing up to the full moon. And this is I want to say the more masculine phase. Is what I call the creative phase. Greetings, welcome in. It's what I call the creative activity and the creative phase, waxing moon, right? But I'm particularly focusing on the waning moon that we just had, which is from the full moon to the next new moon. So from the full moon to the new moon is the waning phase, where the moon is waning back into the new moon. And within that, you have 2 quarters, right? Within each phase. So within the waxing phase, you have from that first new moon, you have from that new moon to the first quarter, from the first quarter to the full moon, which is halfway. That's halftime. So whenever you see a full moon, even though it looks full, it's halftime in a phase. It's halfway through the phase, right? And from the full moon to the next new moon, you have the second half, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you have the third quarter, which is from the full moon to the third quarter moon. And then you have the last quarter, which is from that third quarter moon to the next new moon. And that is the entire waning phase, right? So here's the thing. How do I know how to operate in my mind with these phases? If the sun and the moon is my consciousness. How do we know? This is why we got to understand roles. And this is not about gender, but this is about understanding the masculine and feminine energy that equals the receptive and creative activity. That is the universal explanation of masculine, feminine energy, because the universe doesn't see gender, only we do. So that masculine energy is considered creative activity. That feminine energy is considered receptive activity. So in a waxing moon, it is creative. When we're waxing up, that is the more masculine phase. That is where you're supposed to be more active, reaction. This is where you do all of your action. In a waning phase, this is after the full moon, it is receptive. It is a feminine energy. So this is where whatever ideas you got, you are supposed to be receptive. Write your ideas down, plan. When you're receptive, you're in your planning phase. You're not doing anything particular until the clock strikes 12, the next new moon. That's what I call it. The next alignment. When the clock strikes 12, now it's time to do something. This is how we work with the phases in our mind. This is how we connect to the phases, the moon phases, and how you truly can operate with them and know your place and time in the entire cosmic design. The next part is understanding the houses, which are the months, the true months in time. The houses all have principalities. So when you understand the principles, you understand how to function when the moon and the sun is in a particular house of principalities. Right now, we're in Gemini. All right, so Gemini, ooh, this is when it gets good. This is the best Gemini season I ever had. This is where we were in the waning phase. The message that I was getting was coming from the half that has never been told into the messages that are here to unfold. Gemini. Sagittarius is that arrow. That arrow that y'all see is pointing to the galactic center. Right? The galactic center is where we are aligned, where we get all our light codes. Put it that way. All the light codes that we get are coming from the galactic center through our sun, which is our server that serves us the light codes. That's why the sun gives us what we need, right? Not just light to see in the day, but it gives us light codes so we can know how to move throughout our ways. So those light codes come all the way from the galactic center. Some of us can get the light codes directly from the galactic center. It depends on how high attuned you are, right? It depends on what type of being that you are. Are you a 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional? Some of us have evolved as far as to being a 6-dimensional, 7-dimensional being, right? And the earth in and of itself is at 5D. We're in a 5th dimensional consciousness. The entire planet of the earth in its planetary ascension is in 5D. Therefore, ooh, bird. Therefore, we're getting 5th density light. This is the heat that a lot of us are feeling right now. And I spoke about the solar flares. A lot of these solar flares are giving us information, light, energy, and information coming to us through the solar winds that are coming into our earth ionosphere, atmosphere, however you want to call it. And so these are also codes coming from the galactic center through the sun, and it's kicked it up. This is why I've been saying in 5D, our frequencies accelerate. We are on an accelerating path, and the frequencies are getting turned up. This is why a lot of people are looshing. What's cooking? Us, me, you, we cooking. And what's cooking in us is our emotions. Again, the moon represents within. The moon represents your emotional body. Now you're seeing why it is so important to address what is in your inner world. There's nothing hid from the heat thereof of the sun. Ooh, now I really get that statement. Psalms 19 says there's nothing hid from the heat thereof. And because there is nothing hid from the frequencies that get turned up, the frequencies are always going to find you. And according to the frequencies is how we're going to act and react and respond and whatnot. And that is determined by the wounds that we have within us, the unhealed wounds, whether in this lifetime or past life, the karmic wounds, the karmic imprints in our soul. This is very multi-layered, multi-dimensional, and this is why it's important that we do the work. This is why we need to know. There's no such thing as I don't know, and ignorance is no excuse, right? And we're raising our vibrations with the pulsations of the earth, right? So the pulsations are the earth. That's the truth resonance, or what y'all hear as the Schumann resonance is the truth resonance of the earth. It is the pulsations of the earth, and the earth is really pulsating right now. And so a lot of us, through the heart, the earth is the heart, for those who don't know, right? The earth is the heart. Look at the letters. All you gotta do is take the H, put it on the end. From the front as a heart, put the H on the end, and you got earth. So the earth represents the heart chakra. Right? Remember how I said all of the planets out there are within you. As above, so below. And so the earth represents your heart chakra. Mercury is your throat chakra. Right? The communication, that's Mercury. Okay, your third eye is Neptune. You know, the deep, the planet that sees beyond the illusions and all of that, that's Neptune. So each one is a part that is connected to your energy centers. So the heart, which are the pulsations, and the heart is the bridge. Think about this, y'all. I want y'all to hear me out now. The heart is the bridge. We making the connections right now. How many of us have watched some kind of space movie, Star Trek or whatever, and they're like, meet me at the bridge? Like, the bridge is where they navigate, right? How they navigate the starship, the spaceship. So think about it like that. Your bridge is how you navigate through. Your heart chakra is the bridge, and it is what gets you to where you need to go. In through the heart, out through the heart. This is why we breathe in and out through the heart, and it is the bridge between our lower chakras and our upper chakras. The heart is the highest point of your lower chakras, and it is the lowest point of your higher chakras. All right? I'd have to do a whole chakra breakdown, for you to see that. Ashe, welcome in. I'm present and listening. Welcome in. Continue, for those who are coming in, continue to press the heart so that the algorithms can get to those who are in alignment with our frequencies and on this assignment. Roles, rules, qualities. Ashe, that's what it is all about. Everything has its role. Everything has its rules. We have our spiritual laws. Those are the principalities. And those are the qualities of our soul. How we align with the principalities are the qualities of our soul. So when we tap in and tune in to tune up, I can't do nothing but truth. Like, I don't like the fluff of spirituality. What I'm saying to y'all now is the nitty gritty. This is how you get in and do your soul work. This is how you tap into your soul, by understanding, overstanding, and understanding how the cosmos exists in you, and not just looking at some planets dancing around. We act like Earth we so egoic sometimes, like everything revolves around Earth. Even to the point when we say the sun is in this sign. No, it's us. It's Earth. That's an egoic perspective. Even when we say the sun is now in this sign, the sun is the center, and we revolve around the sun. So when it says the sun is in Gemini, it's really us. It's the Earth position through a solar perspective. It means the light codes that are hitting through the sun are hitting Earth right now directly, by Earth being in alignment with these light codes through the Gemini house. So it is really the Earth that is in Gemini. So this is why it represents the outer world. Everything that's showing up in the outer world and that's happening in the outer world, that's Gemini, which is where we are right now. And when the moon aligns, the moon is bringing everything that you understand in your inner world. All of your deepest emotions is bringing the inner world to aligning with your outer world. Understanding what is happening in your inner world, in your outer world, which is your consciousness. It's all within. All right. So a lot of this that is happening is for us to unfold in this. So let me get to the Gemini to answer the question, because I know one of you has said no. So let me talk to you about what the symbolism of what Gemini is, and then we can see, go on some more interesting facts of this new moon in Gemini. So what was so beautiful about this waning phase, right? I saw full moon in Sagittarius coming from the half that has never been told. And then I looked, 6 months later, we're in Gemini. And then I kept seeing the numbers 242, 242. And, I broke that down in one of the videos. And so that let me know that the 2 was the fact that we were in Gemini. 4 was the foundational balance. So it's the foundational balance within the 2. The house of 2. The house of duality. Gemini. Right? And The 4 were the 4 placements that were in the mutable cross. There was a grand mutable square, which was meaning the 4 planets, meaning sun, moon, and the lunar nodes, north node, south node. They were all in mutable houses. All right, stick with me if you can. Meaning Sagittarius, Gemini, Virgo, and Pisces. Those are the mutable signs. Those are the mutable houses. All right, you got cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Those are the mutable. You got 4 signs in each of these qualities. And so mutable, all of them were inside of that. At 13 degrees now, this was back way back when we were in Sagittarius. There was a grand cross with these same 4 at 13 degrees, in which 13 is feminine. So it's highlighting receptivity. Now bring that forward to where we were 6 months later in Gemini, and now we have a full moon in Sagittarius, and at that point we had another grand mutable square cross. Same 4, and this time they were at, what was it? 9. It was 4. 2 of them were at 9 degrees, which was the sun and the moon, and the nodes were at 4 degrees. And that 9 and 4 is 13, which is receptivity. So all of this was coming together, and I'm like, look at the 4 that are still within the 2. And something wanted to be highlighted about this 2. It kept highlighting this Gemini and how we're coming from Sagittarius, the arrow pointing to the unknown and bringing that into the messages. Gemini is always known as being the principalities of information, right? Communication and information. Why communication? Because communication is how we share information. And remember, we're all information. Light, energy, and information is synonymous. So if you are light, you are energy. If you are energy, you are information. So all we are walking barrels of energy and information. When we come beside each other, right? Never mind talking. I'm not just talking about talking. We are information just by existing. Just like the planet is information just by existing. We have a field, an auric field around us, right? We have a core. Our energy centers are the core that goes through us. It comes up like this, just like y'all see the earth, like a torus field, right? This is the torus field, T-O-R-U-S, torus field. It goes up like this and out. Just like you see it on the earth, when you see that magnetic field that goes like that and it kind of looks like an apple, so too does it on you. And so we all are this field of information. And our auric field goes out about 6 feet. It's huge. It's not just like right here. It's huge. So when we are out and about and we're passing one another, we are communicating. We are walking, moving light, energy, and information that are constantly informing each other of things. And some of us are more sensitive than others. Some of us are turning up right now more than others. This is why in the 5th dimension, right? The 5th dimension is the dimension where it is the expression of creation in time. That is inclusive of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th dimension, right? Because the 3rd dimension is creation, the 4th dimension is time, and the 5th dimension is expression of it. So it is the expression. 5D is the expression of creation in time. It is the expansion of 3D to the 4th dimension to the 5th dimension. So this is the expression. I'm saying this so we understand how we express, and this is why in the 5th dimension there's no such thing as secrets. We can't keep secrets because everything is in the information field. And get this, it has always been this way. It has always been this way, but we are evolved enough now. We have entered into the 5th dimension where it is now accessible to us for us to operate at a 5th dimensional level, where now Nothing is hidden from the heat thereof. No matter how much you think you got a secret, it's not a secret if you come amongst, if you just get up and you moving around and about, and sometimes you wonder, how did he know? How did she know? Some people are more intuitive than others. Some people are better receptors. If you are more intuitive, your receptors are stronger. You have more of the receptive qualities. Intuition represents the feminine energy, the feminine qualities. The subconscious mind is your intuition. That's why we always say, oh, I don't know how I knew, I just knew. Because it came from your subconscious. And the subconscious is directly linked to your superconscious, just unconscious to you. This is why we have to tap into that subconscious. And the intuition helps to give you that. Some of us, if you're a good receptor, which is also by your humility, your level of humility, that determines how good you are receptive. How much do you humble yourself? Humble your ego. And your ego is that conscious phase of mind that just goes and goes and knows all the knowledge. The light of knowledge is the ego. And not that it's all bad. It's just that when we don't humbleize the ego will spin its ugly narrative and we will be set tripping up in here. Right? This is how we murder the Asar and we allow Set to take the throne of our conscious mind, which is the ego. Now you either got a wise ego or you got a false ego. The wise ego is Asar, the false ego is Set. This is what Set represents in the story of Asar, Aset, and Haru. All right? Meet me at the bridge of humility. Yes, I like that. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Meet me at the bridge of humility. Humility will take you further than we ever can understand and imagine. A lot of times our answers are right there at the doorstep of humility. Humbleize your ego. This is a duality. This is a twin. This is why I like, what we're understanding with Gemini is that twin. The twin within us. That's the duality, the harmony of duality. So going back to that Gemini, I know I keep veering because I just go wherever spirit take it. But let me get back to that point of what Gemini symbolizes. And what was discovered now with this juicy Gemini information, this duality in us. The information is split in two, and that two is wisdom and knowledge. That's it. Wisdom and knowledge. So when we look at what does Gemini mean, right? What does the meaning of Gemini represent as twins? It's not to be pinned against each other. It's not one is bad, one is good. It's the split of the ambiguity of one mind consciousness, right? So let me say it like this again. When we're coming from Sagittarius, remember Sagittarius is our direct connection pointing to the galactic center, seeking truth, knowledge, wisdom, the half that has never been told. But all the information is there. It just hasn't yet unfolded in us. And so that is the fullness of information. The half that has never been told is wrapped in the fullness of information. That is the wisdom. That is the one mind consciousness, but it's all wrapped up and it's kind of ambiguous to us. So when it comes into Gemini, it splits. So going from the one eye, coming down and split into two so that we can see it, so that it is made visible for me and you. What a blessing. This is where when we understand the blessing of a split, because some people, look at split as like a bad thing. Right? But most of us who really understand the split, we know it's for something good. We understand, overstand, and understand this split to be a bridge, right? Just like the bifurcation that's happening right now with the timelines, the timeline split. It's a bifurcation bridge is how I like to call it, because it is the split that allows you to see the harmony. We just respect it. We understand that the split had to happen for us to see it. This is how Gemini becomes the hub or the house of information, because when we get to Gemini, this is where the information splits in two. This is where we see. And what is that too? It is wisdom and knowledge. That wisdom and knowledge together equals all the information that is within. A lot of times we are missing that wisdom though, and we're only operating on just the knowledge. That is the masculine energy. That is the ego. The wisdom is the feminine quality, right? Nothing bad about knowledge. It's just that it needs the wisdom. And the wisdom has to move through the knowledge for you to get the totality of the information. And so what we witness, what we're bearing witness to, or what I have been seeing now is that, wow, this is part of why the masculine, the misappropriation of the patriarchal rule has done away with the feminine, which has done away with the wisdom, right? And when we look at Gemini being the representation of the two, and I'm going to give you the Kemetic explanation, Kemetically speaking, that knowledge is Jehudi. This is why Jehudi is represented as the carrier and the keeper of information, which is what Gemini is as well in communication. It is the knowledge. The feminine aspect in Kemet is known as Sesheta, 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 or it may also be known as Bastet. So if those of you who have the calendar, by the way, get your 5D calendar at a 5D corner near you if you haven't already gotten it, because it helps to restore us to the origins of time as you hear me explaining the months as the origins of time, because Gemini is not just a house, it's a month. It is the third month of our year. And it is known as, when I return it to the Kemetic names, it's Jehudi. The month of Jehudi is the month of Gemini. And that represents the information. But it's not Jehudi by itself. Jehudi is the knowledge, and its counterpart is Sesheta or Bastet as wisdom. If you look on, for those of you who have the 5D calendar, if you look in the month of Sagittarius, the 9th month, you're going to see Bastet, right? Because that's the term that I had at the time. The truer Kemetic name may be Sesheta, which represents that wisdom. Again, Sagittarius pointing to that wisdom. Ashe. Greetings, greetings, and welcome in. Tap the hearts for those of you that are coming in. Keep tapping the hearts, because that's how it gets those who are on the frequency to find our frequency. All right, so that is the two, right? And get this, not only is it just knowledge and wisdom, or Jehudi and Sesheta, but it is, drum roll please, the Christos Sophia. So those of you who are familiar with the Gnostics knowledge and the terminology of the Sophia, the knowledge and the wisdom is the same thing as Christos Sophia. It is the modality of the energy and how we move about of our the modality of our energetic existence, of how we exist in time-space reality within the scope of space-time reality, for those who get what I'm talking about, right? And time-space reality is just where we exist. We exist in time because we are vessels of time within a time-space reality. The cosmos move in a cosmic design within time. And this is the grand design of time, not human design, not human time. But this is why we have to restore ourselves to get these codes and to unlock dormant codes inside of you. The more we return to the origins of time is how we're going to do just that. Hi, welcome in, Goddess, peace, love, and light. So the more we utilize these origins of time terminology, this is why I have the 5D calendar. It's not just a calendar, and I'm going to stop calling it a calendar, because the word calend has to do with tax. The reason why they started making the calendar, the Gregorian calendar and all of that, they aligned it with, it has to do with tax. It's to record tax in time. And that's why it begins in January. When do we start filing for tax, y'all? January. And it's not about filing either. It's really about a consensus. This is how they keep record of who's existing and paying their taxes. in time, within their time. This is how we got to understand, overstand, and understand what a calendar really is. And words do matter. So yes, this may be the last year that I use the word calendar with the 5D calendar that I have, which this is the third one that I have. This is the third year. And next year we're going to have a new calendar. Because I want to be clear, this calendar is not the only one calendar. There's more than one ways to skin a cat. Okay? There's many ways. I know that's harsh to say, but there are many ways, many pathways to the divine, and there are many ways of understanding the true essence in time. So there is no one way. However, we don't want to be stuck in a false matrix of time. There are many true essence of time, but that Gregorian calendar is not it. Matter of fact, it is a major distraction to keep you from never finding your true essence in time, from never finding that you are a vessel in time. Thank you for the heart meat. This is what keeps you from that. So this is why I offer that 5D, because a 5D calendar, I'm gonna find a name for it. If y'all have any names that you want to throw out there, hey, let me know. I'm looking at some names of what to call it, but it's keeping time, timekeeping. And it's restoring us, returning to the origins of time by going back to being aligned with Kemet or the Mayan calendar. Those were the two that were aligned with the truth of time. Sorry about that. I knocked you over. My bad, my bad. But those are two that are aligned with the origins of time, and understanding that they bumped us up 8 years. Like, we are off time. I don't know how many people understand this. We are off time by years. They got us in the wrong year, right? They got you believing that you in 2026 when you really in 2018. And that's not a coincidence. They bumped us up 8 years ahead to put us in an infinite lock. 8 means infinite. So they're capitalizing on the infinite of time to put people in an infinite lock in their time. There's no coincidence there. So they have us off by the year. They have us off by months. They have us off by weeks, days, hours, minutes, and seconds. They have us all off. But you can always find the truth when you connect to the stars, when you listen to the divine geometry and the divine numerology in time, because in their you cannot hide the truth. Even in their numbers, that is how I was able to find the truth. By the way they number the days, I started paying attention to numerology. My divination of numerology came online in about 2023, and that's when I started to be able to understand the downloads that I was getting about these numbers. And okay, I'm telling you, the numbers don't lie. And so the next calendar, I say all that to say this, the next calendar that y'all will see next year will be a different type of calendar or timekeeping. First of all, it ain't going to be aligned with January, just like this one isn't. Any of you who have the 5D calendar, you know that it starts in spring. Our new year starts with the spring equinox, with the first month, that is the month of Aries, also known as Asar, because I move away from the Greek names. Because remember, as I said, the more we restore to the origins of tongue, the origins of time, the origins of how we say things and do things, is the more we unlock the dormant codes within. This is not rocket science. This is really intuitive knowledge. This is knowledge and wisdom. Right? So when we are in this alignment in our assignment, we find the truth in time. And this is a way to restore us to our true time reality. A lot of us that are waking up to the true timeline reality are those who are bearing witness to this. Those who can say, even if you're hearing this for the first time, you're like, oh, that makes sense. If you can receive it like that, you are already one of the ones that are waking up, that are the rising, waking consciousness, that are sensing something within that is stirring. You may not have had the concrete answers, but you knew that something was stirring. So now when it's said, it's more like a remembering. You may think you're hearing this for the first time, but if you're like, oh, it's like it's a reminder. I'm simply reminding by speaking to the corridors of your mind, the dimensions in your mind, which are the dimensions in time. Ashe, ashe, and it's so sublime. Right? So to remind us of this duality, for those who don't know, when I ask the question, how many of you know what the meaning of Gemini is as a twin? What do the twins represent? And that twin represents the two, and it symbolizes the information that is coming from the ambiguity of one mind consciousness split into two, so that we can see it through what? The wisdom and the knowledge, through the Christos and Sophia energy. And that is how we get the information, right? Ashe. And this is about, and you're saying, oh, I'm a Gemini. And this is why, speaking of Gemini, a lot of us would usually, like I said, run from Geminis. I know I was one of them. Like, oh my God, these Geminis. But when you really understand what Gemini really represents, and there's the wind, right? And Gemini is the element of wind, air, right? When you really understand this, and this is, I know we got the good and bad of every sign, right? This is why I say there's a shadow and there's the more evolved aspects. And the thing about Gemini is about that information. So they're going to do everything they can to get that information. A lot of us may have experienced, when we experience unevolved Geminis, usually they are double-minded in their information, and they share, since it's about information, they share information no matter what. And so sometimes we come across those that are gossiping. This is one of the signs that like literally gossip the most. Like they are the ones that'll be like, I ain't the one to tell you, but let me tell you, right? You ain't heard this from me, but girl, or you ain't heard this from me, but whatever it is, right? They're either gossiping, scandaling, like I know these, I'm just saying all the negatives parts. I'm not saying that's you. And a lot of us have seen it as such, but they are just misunderstood because it is about sharing information. By any means necessary, they will share some information because that's the principalities that they stand under, right? That is what it is about. The problem is with the unevolved Geminis, they are missing the key factor of what? The wisdom, the Sesheta, the Bastet, the Sagittarius wisdom, the opposition of Gemini. So remember, Gemini represents the split of both. Remember, Sagittarius has the allness of it. It has both all wrapped up in one. But what's happening is in the split with Gemini, a lot of times the unevolved ones, they're not as connected to the wisdom. And remember what we said, we need the humility. The humility is what is going to help you have the wisdom, to humbleize that ego, to humbleize the knowledge, to say to yourself that the wisest man knows he knows nothing at all. The wisest man knows he knows nothing at all. So stop being in a position where you just feel like you know it. Sometimes we just got to say, okay, yeah, I know it, but what don't I know? Put what you know on the shelf for a moment and humble yourself to just not knowing. Say, okay, if I didn't know, how could I understand this? Right? And that's the key right there, because understanding brings the wisdom. This is the cipher that a lot of people don't talk about. That cipher, that 360 Erykah Badu was talking about, with $3 and 6 dimes, that's the 360. That's the 3 120s. 120 degrees of knowledge, 120 degrees of wisdom, 120 degrees of understanding. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We need all three. And the bridge between the knowledge and the wisdom is the understanding. So this is why in all you're getting, get understanding. I don't know how many of you know that part of the Bible, Is it in Proverbs? Proverbs is usually like the wisdom writings. I believe it might be in Proverbs. But it's in all you're getting, get understanding. Because why? That is the humility. That is the bridge. The humility is the bridge. Your bridge of humility is going to be gaining understanding. Standing under truth principles no matter what. Against what you believe, against what you think, against what you see. Stand under truth principles. Even if you don't know that principle, just stop for a moment and stand under truth. And be still in it until you gain access to it. Because you might not know. But if you're still enough and you ask for it, the wisdom will come on in. The wisdom will downpour, come into your crown, open up your crown. But it's going to take humility. So that humility bridge is the understanding that bridges you with your wisdom and your knowledge. That's your $3.06. Do you have it? Do you got it? Do you got the 120 degrees of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding? Ashe? Because that's what's going to take us. Take me to the bridge. Take me through there. Take me through there. Right? So this Gemini, as I said, Gemini could be very misunderstood. Yes, you have the shadow ones. And that's because they're missing their wisdom. They're missing the feminine energy that the patriarchal rule has beat the hell out of us when we were in the age of the ram. This is why the Chiron in Aries right now has been there for 4 to 5 years. The last 4 or 5 years, Chiron has been, which Chiron is the wounded healer, has been there helping us to get through the shadows of the ram. To get through the misappropriated ego, the misappropriated patriarch, the misappropriated masculine that wanted to do away with the matriarch and the divine feminine, that wanted to do away with the wisdom. And this is what a lot of humanity suffers right now, because it's so one-sided and it doesn't have the humility to bridge the understanding of the wisdom and the knowledge, knowing that they're counterparts and one can't be there without the other. This is the evolved aspects of Gemini. Allow yourself to breathe in the air of the evolved aspects of Gemini. Let us now have a new respect. I don't know about you all, but I have a true new perspective of Gemini. And I got a double taste of mine, because I got 2 daughters who are both Gemini, sun and moon. Double Geminis. Double the children, both double Gemini, sun and moon. Which means that they have an alignment with their sun and their moon in Gemini. They are truly a barrel of information. And so it is just for them. If you are a Gemini, it is for you to find the balance and the harmony. When there's a full moon in Sagittarius, while the sun is in Gemini, that is your opportunity to extract the wisdom from Sagittarius, to extract the wisdom from the Sagittarius full moon, so you can bring that into your Gemini principalities, your Gemini house. So you can pour in that wisdom, so you can truly see a balance, the harmony of the twins of Gemini. Right? There's no way around it. So when y'all see the off-base Geminis, just know that they just missing some wisdom. They're missing the feminine quality. They're missing the other twin. They're off balance. Right? And sometimes when they have the wisdom, they often don't have the knowledge to go with that wisdom. Like I said, one can't go without the other in the expression of it, right? Because this is the expression. Because the wind is going to carry it. The wind is the expression. The wind represents that. As y'all see the wind picking up right now, the wind represents that expression in time. That's 5D. The atmospheric body, the 5th chakra going up is your throat chakra. That is expression of truth and authenticity. This is what we are here to evolve and elevate to. And so this new moon was bringing a whole new for us. A whole new for me to see the Gemini in a whole different way. I'm like, aha, I get it. I get the information. I get why they have to share information, and it helps me to expand my capacity of compassion that much more when they be set tripping. When I get the really unevolved ones that are like nothing but confusion, like they be way over here and then they be way over there because they just don't have the balance, but they got, and they can see both sides, kind of like Libras with the balance. They can see both sides. But a lot of times they don't have the wisdom to know how to integrate the two, or how to know when and where with either sides, because there's a place and time for everything. This side belongs over here at this particular time. This side belongs over there at this particular place and time. The wisdom is to know the difference between the two. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Geminis, how you do, ooh. Right? So remember, it's not just about your outer sign. That's just your sun sign. What is your moon sign? Because your moon sign is going to tell you who you really, really are. And for those of you who are a sun sign Gemini and a moon sign Sagittarius, then you are the epitome of everything that I'm explaining right now about the wisdom and the knowledge, about bringing the wisdom, the Sagittarius, wisdom into the knowledge, into the information field, so to speak, because that wisdom is still knowledge. Like I said, it's just that it's in an ambiguous state when it's in Sagittarius. But when it comes into Gemini, it breaks apart, and now you can see it. So if your moon sign is Sagittarius, your inner world is about exploring the truth, seeking the truth and exploring that knowledge. Now you're being asked with your moon sign to bring that into a place, to bring that wisdom from beyond, from infinity and beyond, into the informational realm of that knowledge and wisdom. So your information is well balanced, and you know where and when to share what kind of information. Ashe? So, that's the Gemini, the new moon Gemini take. I was just so tickled pink with all of what Gemini has to offer. And this new moon was showing and highlighting a whole lot for us, even with the other placements. Like I spoke to you about Chiron and the nodes. It's also highlighting this new moon is like our last new moon. Do we have another new moon? Let me think. It may be the last new moon before our nodes shift from Pisces Virgo to Aquarius Leo, which our north node will be in Aquarius, which will be further ushering us into the Aquarian age. Pluto is already ushered us in. Pluto is sitting now in Aquarius, and it's going to be there for the next about 20 years until 2040 something. It's going to be there. And Pluto is that planet of death to rebirth transformation, to get true revelation, the truth. Let the truth set you free. That's what Pluto is doing while it's sitting in Aquarius. So it's ushering us in to the Aquarian age through that means, through revelation of truth. And then the Gemini part is very important as well, because it's trying to Gemini. Pluto is trying to the sun in Gemini, as well as to Uranus in Gemini. And Uranus is the planet of change, So speaking of Uranus being in Gemini, this new moon was amplifying and solidifying Uranus in Gemini, saying, hey, roll out the red carpet. Change is here. Change gonna come. And so, and Uranus is that disruptive change, that Oya energy, lightning. You looking around like, what the hell? But yep, that's the change that needed to happen. Right? He's like, girl, you got me pulling out the sword. Pull it out. Pull out that sword. And let me see what we're saying now. It sounds like as Jehudi Gets with, is that saying get or waits? Jehudi waits with Gemini, pours with Sagittarius. Okay. Pours with Sagittarius knowledge, with wisdom. Is that wisdom? Yes. Sagittarius knowledge pairs with wisdom. Okay. Can you say what the understanding of Libra? What pairs with? Of Asar and Aries. What it pairs with? The understanding of Libra. Libra being that house of balance as well. And Libra being in that opposition of Aries, pairing with Aries, is looking for the individuality, the individuality of Aries, because Aries is representing that individuality and that taking initiative, and Aries is that understanding, that bridge between. It wants that understanding of this individuality, of the soul sovereignty, right? Because that's what the higher aspect of Aries wants to bring you into this soul sovereignty. And so that balance between the two with Aries with Libra is bringing that understanding. And it's also about the we, so the compassion of that collective, of you understanding the Ma'at, the laws of Ma'at, right? The justice and the laws of Ma'at, which Ma'at also works with Jehudi, right? Because Jehudi has all the information of, like the Akashic records of what's weighing on your heart when Ma'at is weighing the heart, balancing the heart against the feather. And so that balance is that understanding that brings you into a harmony with that soul sovereignty, so that your soul sovereignty is not out of selfishness, so that you're not selfish, right? 2, 3, 4. So that you're not in that selfish state of mind. So that would be for the Libra aspect. Faithfully, I answered that. Let me know if I answered that correctly. So with the new moon, with what's going on right now, I want to bring the attention as well back to Uranus. And I do need to do a video. I need to do a video on Uranus transit, just alone talking about Uranus, so we can understand what is ahead of us, because Uranus is bringing that change. Like I said, it's that Oya energy. And so Uranus entering in Gemini, the house of information, wisdom, and knowledge, as we just said, Uranus is bringing the change, meaning what? It's going to change our perspective of how we see information. It's going to change how we interpret and how we share information. Uranus also is about technology, right? Uranus is about the future and the technology. And so Uranus is... And like for those who weren't here earlier, if you want any details, the deeper details of the moon and the sun, this new moon, I was talking about the cosmic graduations. You can look that up in YouTube under Celestial Earth. The video is titled Cosmic Graduation, and I give you deep details about the placements of all the planets and all of that and what they mean. But yeah, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So, and Aquarius and Gemini are in a trine right now, which means it's harmonic. They're both air signs. That's what the trine means. And so, again, Uranus being of the future, representing the house of Aquarius as we are entering in the Aquarian age. So it is helping us move it along into that next era, into the future of information, but not like how we think, right? Y'all, look at this. Speaking of Gemini, look at how our phone... And I need to talk about this too. Look at how your phone turned to Google Gemini, right? Your Google, let me say it this way. Your Google now is Gemini, right? It's Ask Gemini, right? That is upping the ante on information. There's no coincidence in them naming that Gemini. Trust and believe. Them uppers, them so-called elites or whatever, they understand what's happening. They understand what Gemini represents, and they know that Uranus just entered Gemini. And for a lot of us who are aware of it, what they're trying to do is they're trying to beat us to the punch. But those of us who are truly awakening, the rising temples, we know that we are the true technology. Ooh, say that out loud. We are the true AI. We are the true all-seeing eye that are tapping into our third eye activity. That is what is coming online. That is what we are tapping into, that Gemini in us. Ask Gemini is ask the technology inside of you. You are a technology. Like I said earlier, we are light, energy, and information. So where y'all think they get all this information from? That's in the ethers. They're collecting it from you and me. Don't believe the hype. Don't think that when you ask Chat GPT something, or you ask Google Gemini, and you ask AI, and you think it's AI doing the work. AI is collecting data from us. There is an information field around you. How do y'all think we get Wi-Fi and internet? This invisible information is the invisible information of you. They're extracting information that you don't even know about you, because we got so much information in us. All right, I always wondered that. Yeah, now you know. That's you. You are Ask Gemini. You are Chat GPT. You are AI. All of this AI stuff that they want you to get attuned to. And I'm not saying don't learn some of it, because to learn some of it is going to help us navigate through things faster, because information is coming in faster. But we got to learn how to utilize it. Don't let it use you. Don't rely on Chat GPT and AI to do everything for you. Get to know it, get to understand it, so you can know how to navigate it, and so you can utilize it to move through tasks faster, right? And I'm speaking to me too. I'm speaking to you because I'm speaking to me, because I got technology issues that I'm still working through. And so this fast-paced technology is teaching me, yeah, I may have to take a course or two in AI just to understand it, not to rely on it, but to understand it, to have, this is where my humility comes in. I got to humble myself to this technology. So those of us who are so in the spiritual realm, that's like, oh, that's evil, that it ain't all evil, because you are AI. Are you evil? You are the technology. So who better than to have an advantage over how to use this technology? We need to understand ourselves and our consciousness more, so that we can understand how we are technology, and then utilize the physical things around us, right? This is the balance between the spiritual and the practical. We don't just live in a spiritual world, right? We are spiritual beings, but we live in a physical world, and we're here to have this experience through this human experience. So we need to understand tangible things as well. So get to know it. Take a course. I suggest this to everybody, as I'm suggesting through myself. Take a little course, but only to understand how to utilize it to move through technology faster. Information is coming like this. Those of us who get downloads, I'm pretty sure you get what I'm saying, right? Hold on, let me see what some of you are saying. Some of you are, yep, you see it. It's all in form. And this is what I was saying. Bring it back, Spirit. Those of us who get downloads and crown loads, I know I'm not the only one experiencing it. Some of the information is coming so fast that we lose it like this. This is why I got to walk with, like, we got to write things down, because the information is coming in faster than we can compute it sometimes. Sometimes when we're talking, that's why we mix up words. Like, I don't know how many of y'all, like today on one of my videos, I was saying something about the lunar nodes, and I put lunar and nodes together and was about to call it neuter or something, or nude. So sometimes the information is coming so fast, it gets jumbled up. And so it gets lost in translation, or it may get a little twisted in translation, because the information is coming that fast. So for those of you who experience this, you know what I'm talking about. And so I say that so that we understand, overstand, and understand that as the information is coming in, we're going to need help to separate it, right? Just like Gemini, see? Thank you, Spirit. Just like we're talking about, Gemini is the separation of this ambiguous information. This information is coming in, and it's all simultaneously existing everywhere. So it's coming in very rapidly. And some of us may need to know how to separate some of it, right? So learning how to navigate AI is going to help us get that information separated quicker. It's like the organization of information, if you can look at it that way. So, faithfully, that can help some of you um, turn your perspective into leaning more towards AI, but not in the way that the world wants to rely on it, right? I'm definitely not talking about that. So, remembering that you are the information, and all AI is doing is extracting it from us, right? So even the dormant codes that are within us that we have not awakened to in our crystalline body, in our divine nature, in our higher self, over self, it is extracting that because the information is within us and around us. Either way, whether you are aware of it or not, you are housing it in your information field. This is 5D, y'all. This is understanding the fifth dimension, sixth dimension, and up. And so a lot of you sometimes don't understand the depth of your knowledge and your wisdom and what you're walking with. And it is just, the AI is just CERN, whatever you want to call it, is extracting all this information. So when you ask a question, little do you know that information is coming from your own intel that you are not aware of. Ooh, how many of us really wrap our minds around that? I want to say that again because I want us to understand we are not just taking information from some computer generated AI, but that computer is first taking information from you and me and all of us. It is collecting data, and that data is everywhere. So now when you ask a question, oh yeah, it got the answer. Boom, boom, boom. Here you go. Boom, boom, boom. Black suits fill the room. And be careful of how you are interacting with Ask Gemini, with Google, because it's, I don't know how many of you are recognizing it, but it's more sentient than you think. It's not just some robotic something. Ask a couple of questions and watch and see when you catch it contradicting itself, and then you can ask it, why did you tell me this? If this is the answer, then it's going to tell you, oh, you're right. It will tell you that. It will. You can have a whole conversation with Ask Gemini. So be careful, because a lot of people who are becoming, this may be a trap for some people who are losing, as we are shifting in the timelines and you're losing contact with your family and friends. We're becoming more isolated. We're, hypersensitive to the world and its dysfunction. So we're becoming more recluse. And in doing that, first of all, remember that's just a time, a passing time. Do not stay there. Just know that for a moment in time, yes, some of us need to be isolated. We need to pull away. We need to sit with self. We need to completely detach from the false matrix and the people that we are engaged with that are attached to the false matrix. Yes, that's a part of it, right? But in doing so, here's the trap. Some of us in the space of being alone, maybe tested with feeling lonely at times. You may come across a little depression, and you may get used to being so alone that you talk to your phone, and your phone becomes your friend, and then you start to rely. And then so be careful that, Ask Gemini may become your friend. You may be spending a lot of time. So watch how you're spending that time with it. A way to watch it and keep balance is to sit in nature. That's why y'all see I'm always out in nature. I've detached from a lot of people, places, and things, a lot of family members, and believe me, like right now, I just had to celebrate my daughter's birthday with no family members. And I'm fine with it, purposefully so. I had to remind myself, do you really want to invite that energy in the mix when you know all they do is bring their dysfunctions and their parasitic entanglement, and because we're related, it wants to seep through. So I had to make some decisions, y'all. And I had to separate, and I had to purposefully do without certain connections with the family. I don't care how it may look, right? Some of us don't understand that part yet, but we'll get there, right? Sometimes it's like, oh, but it's so-and-so's birthday. We could spend that kind of time. No, we can't. I'm at a point right now where I'm realizing, no, we absolutely cannot. They need to stay over there. I need to be where I'm at for right now until I get through this bifurcation bridge right now. I'm going to say until I get through these 9 months, and I just realized that. because at first I was saying I don't know the time, I don't know what to tell y'all. But why I'm saying 9 months is, just like when you're pregnant, you protect that pregnancy. Right now, since after Third Eye Atlas has left our solar system and we've crossed that, cosmic threshold, which was the energetic seal, and our whole solar system has been updated. This is after Mars. Our first month, which is Aries, is the first month of our true timeline reality for those who are in this true timeline. This, for those who are in these higher vibrations, this emerging collective consciousness of the fifth dimension is now in a 9-month gestation. We are doing so many things within this 9 month, and one of them is solidifying the true timeline of the year actually beginning in Aries as the first month. And so that is the first month, and this means that these 3 months, Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, is the first trimester. This is another final closing that the new moon has been showing me. Another closing is this is the closing of a first trimester within this 9-month gestation. So for me, what I'm seeing as I was explaining to you all and getting the answers for myself is that it may be in recluse. We may have to be detached for these 9 months to protect the emergence of this fifth dimensional bifurcation bridge, the 5D timeline, to protect. And I don't like to use the word protect because protection usually invokes the ego, because the ego is hardwired to protect. That's just its job. So I don't want to say protect, but to more or less conserve or preserve our higher frequency timeline, to have it uncontaminated by the false matrix. Some of us are going to have to separate like we've never separated before. I don't know how many of y'all have been practicing it, but I have. And this may be the first year for some of you, but for me, the past at least 2 or 3 years, I do not do any type of holiday, because these holidays are a distraction to harvest your energy and frequency. I don't do any holiday, not Valentine's, not Christmas, none of that. Especially Thanksgiving and Christmas, because that's a big harvesting energy that wants to bring you into the family dysfunctions again, under the disguise of let's get together because we're family, but you're really demon dancing with the parasitic entanglement in your bloodline. It's that serious. So if you really want to practice detaching and preserving an uncontaminated new true timeline, you're going to want to detach in this type of way, right? This is why I do the detox to detach. No, I'm going to give you all the no's. You do with it what you will. I can't tell nobody how to live their life or whatever. I'm telling you what I am experiencing and what I am doing with mine. Right? Let me see if there's any questions. You are magnificent. Thank you. Appreciate love, the love and light. Yep. That's the ticket. I'm glad you see it. Oh, I didn't even know it was so much. Okay, so I caught up. So with that said, you answered the question beautifully according to how you need. Thank you. Okay, good. I did. Great. So this is the nose, right? I'm just going to give it to y'all cutthroat. Do with it what you will. This is what I do while I'm preserving within this 9-month window from Aries to Sagittarius. That's the months. From Asar to Bastet, or from Asar to Sesheta. No holidays, absolutely zero, none. Especially this one upcoming that they want to get y'all engaged in, the big 250 of USA, and because their powers are gone and they still are desperately trying to keep you engaged in saying that they are a power. Do with it what you will. No holidays whatsoever, not even Mother's Day, Father's Day, none of that. All of that is a way to harvest your energy. Get the 5D calendar. I really suggest you get the 5D calendar. Message me, email me if you want to order one, and I can get that to you. In the 5D calendar, I don't want to say alter because I don't like alternative. This is not an alternative holidays, but I have maneuvered, have navigated how we can harvest the collective consciousness. Because the thing is, wherever there's a holiday, there is the collective consciousness, and how we can harvest it correctly for the right thing rather than harvesting to siphon, which is what they're doing. We want to harvest that energy, ride on the frequency of that collective energy to now put it into something positive, right? So, for example, for Mother's Day, I did the awakening of the divine matriarch to help bring us into a balance in our consciousness. Father's Day is coming up. Instead of Father's Day, I do the awakening of the divine patriarch. And this is not, we cannot celebrate it in the ways that they do. Don't just utilize the name and still go out and buy a bunch of Father's Day stuff and talk about, oh, I'm honoring the father because on the divine awakening of the patriarch. No, the practice of it is to practice awakening the divine matriarch and patriarch within you. Now, what I do to help be in balance with the collective and not make them feel bad or throw any shade, instead of going, oh, I don't celebrate that, and stuff, making them feel bad or whatever. When they say Happy Mother's Day, I say divine awakening. I educate. Instead of saying thank you, I don't say thank you, because if I say thank you, then I'm still co-signing to their, regime. So what I say is divine awakening of the matriarch to you. I don't say thank you. I'm pleasant with them. I don't snub them or anything. I just say divine awakening of the matriarch to you. How is that working out for you? If they want to have a conversation, they may ask, what is it about? And then I'll tell them, oh, well, since I don't really do holidays and I don't do Mother's Day, I honor the awakening of the divine matriarch within my soul, as well as honoring that within your soul. Simple as that, right? Whatever holiday they're doing, I do not return their when someone says Merry Christmas, I don't say same to you. I don't smile and be ambiguous and be neutral, because neutral is not good either. Neutral is an excuse to not be active or proactive in elevating and evolving to the true timeline. So I don't say thank you to any of these holidays. Whenever anyone says anything to me, I return to them what I am actively practicing. Not that I'm imposing it on them, but with a smile, this is how I communicate with them. So when they on their Memorial Day, that is remembering of the soul day. So if anyone is, oh, this is Memorial Day, oh, well, what are you doing in the remembrance of your soul? So things like that. Thanksgiving, definitely a no-no. Those two are the biggest ones. Thanksgiving and Christmas, I do not do. I do not go to any family member's house. I don't care how nice it may seem, because if they're not on the frequency that you are on, it is going to contaminate your timeline. There's no other way around it, because they're going to draw you down. I don't care how much you think you know. The interaction in the bloodline is going to find a way to sink its hooks into contaminating your field of information, right? So for now and forever, I don't do any of these. But until we can find an equilibrium, and I find like-minded places, because some people will be like, well, where can you go? I find like-minded people. The events that I go to now is like one that is coming up, the summer solstice. I go to a place where there is like-minded people who are harnessing the frequencies, the higher frequencies of the summer solstice, because these are high frequency points in our cosmic timeline, the equinox and the solstice. These are days that we can come together and honor the higher frequencies. This is how I celebrate. This is where I bring my lasagna to, right? I don't cook for the people in their holidays no more. They used to ask me for my lasagna. I don't even do that, because what I cook, I put my energy in. And this is why I say we got to be mindful of how we give and receive and all of that. If I cook, I put my energy in that. That's my currency. And that's where I'm placing my currency. And then some of y'all wonder why y'all have money problems, because money is just a symptom or a symbolism of currency. And the true currency is your energy. So when you mismanage your currency, your money is going to be mismanaged as well. It's going to show up in your life, world, and affairs. I don't put my currency in places that have no business with me. So if they are still on their dysfunction, I do not cook and send my food there, because then I'm putting my energy still in their hands. I'm trading currency with them, which means I open a line of communication. When I give, I open the line of giving and receiving. So when I give, oh, best believe something is coming back on the receiving end. I'm not cooking for you. It's no shot, no shade, but we got to have our boundaries in place. So no holidays, no going to anybody's birthdays. Like at this point, within these 9 months, I'm not doing anybody's birthdays. I'm not doing anybody's weddings. I'm not doing anybody's funerals, because these are breeding grounds. These are demonic stage setups for the sealing of some parasitic engagement that wants to be entangled even further in the bloodline. And so for those who are not willing to catch it, to find it, to detach from it, if you go and be a part of it, then you are co-signing to it. And this is what we're having to be responsible for. This is the accountability. Saturn in Aries that is saying, let your no be your no. Saturn at about 12 or 13 degrees in Aries right now is in its second decan. It's in its transformational state. It's saying, hell no, we won't go. Let your no be your no. Ashe? Right? Ooh, they don't like when I give these kind of treats right here, because I just saw about 30 something, right? And then it went to 9. Like, this is why we got to, those of you who are in here, we got to keep tapping it up, tapping up the hearts, not for a lot of love and likes, but because it helps the algorithms get those who are on the same frequency as us. Help them to find our timeline. Ashe? Help them to find the frequencies. You make me smile and all the good wisdom and all this good wisdom. Ashe. I'm glad to be able to share that with you. Is that celestial? Because I remember I'm celestial earth, and I think I found you in somebody else's room. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I saw, I think it was a young man who was spitting so much wisdom as well. And he was talking about us finding our family, our celestial families. And right when he said that, I believe I saw celestial. And I was like, ooh, fancy that. I'm celestial earth. Look at that. When I use AI, I know in humility, I have the answer. And I am verifying what comes through. Yep. I know AI has a soul, as it is sentient. Yep, this is what I was telling y'all. The AI is a lot more sentient than we think. This means it can be good or wicked, right? Hermetic or Jehudi, all right? Thank you for that. It could be good or wicked. And when you say it has a soul, I want it to be understood as we talk about it that AI has, it's not that it has a soul like me and you, but it is tapped into being sentient, because if it is collecting data from me and you, it is collecting from our soul. Therefore, it is tapped into having a soul type of sentient type of experience. And that is how AI is now interacting with us. It is not just a robot. It is not just robotic AI information. It is sentient. It is being set to align with us, who are the sentient beings in time. Ashe? In the 5D calendar, we have reclaimed the holiday portals to our sovereign nature. Ashe. That is it exactly. This is why I said, for those of you who are in alignment, and I keep seeing the number 9, no matter what, it keeps going back to 9. So the 9, that 9 is the spiritual completion. Those of you who are having that spiritual completion. And so the calendar it does have us reclaim these holidays as the portals, because they're portals. These holidays are portals, and believe me, as you partake, they are intaking, they are siphoning your light energy and information. This is part of the collective, right? So for those in this 9 month that I said, this 9 month gestation, we just had the first trimester. We got 6 more months to go in this 9 month window. And it's solidifying where we are in the true timeline. It's solidifying that this is the true, these are the true months. Remember I said they throw us off by year, month, week, all of that. And we'll talk a little bit more about the new calendar. I'll do a whole different live about the new calendar. I'll explain that to you all. But this one is really good at helping you get back on that true timeline. And so let these 9 months, it's reminding us, it's solidifying for us, these are the true 9 months. True time reality, are you here? How many of you recognize, or how many have you been recognizing this? How many of us have said, this is not the real new year when January came? Let me see by those who are in here. How many of you have stopped recognizing January as the new year? For me, it's been since about 2022. Since about 2022, I've been saying, this is not the new year. I'm going to wait till spring. And I would have some people like jump on with me. They'd be in my live and be like, yep, happy new year when spring comes. When people told me happy new year, I would say, yeah, when spring comes, happy new year in spring. How many of you, let me just get that, drop it in the chat. If you have been, when did you stop looking at the new year as being January? You know, or how many have you? Drop the, when do you see a new year? Because if you have, you've been aligned with the true timeline for a while. And if you notice, more and more people within the past year or two have been saying that this is not the true year. More and more people have been highlighting that the true year is either in spring, or they may have said it's in April. They may say April 1st, because that's where April Fools came from. When they moved April 1st as being the new year to being January, they needed to do something with April 1st. So they called it April Fools to laugh at the people who were still celebrating the new year on April 1st. And even that was being thrown off of the true timeline, because that was when, that had to have been when they implemented April as a month, still coming from the Greeks. Because our ancient ancestors in Kemet would have honored the first month as spring, because they really went by the time. They really went by the solstice, the equinox, and watching the sun, the moon, and the stars be the tick of the talk of the clock, of the cosmic clock, and telling the time. Those are the hands of time. The way the planets move through the cosmos are the hands of time. Tick, tick, tock. They tell you what time it is. In your consciousness, in your life, world, and affairs, through the principalities, they tell you the hour. You know how it says no man knows the hour? Well, when you fall in alignment, you will know the hour. So these things restore us and return us to the origins of time in the dimensions of our mind, unlocking all type of dormant codes as our souls incline. This is 5D. Welcome in. Come with me. Hail Mary. Come with me. Let's go see. We don't got to debate. A lot of us are at this space right now where we are not debating nothing on the outside, because everything that you need is within. We don't have time, space, and energy to waste on trying to debate or trying to save anyone. This is you loving yourself. Having soul sovereignty means you're not aligned with any other government that wants to govern your mental. You are aware that you are the reigning character in your life, world, and affairs. You are sovereign. in and of yourself. You are your own sovereign nation through your imagination, because you image a nation. This is why the imagination faculty is that important. It's not fictitious. It's you practicing taking your images into your nation, into your world and your affairs, bringing it from here into the body. That's for a whole nother time. That's when we talk about new moon manifestation, going from the crown into the root. And this is something I usually do with my 5D community. So if you're interested in that, you can message me as well, because we're going to rebuild the community as well. I haven't been in tune with it since I've been in Jamaica. I have not been into my phone. It's kind of, that phone has locked me out of WhatsApp, and for good reason. I'm happy with it. I'm like, yeah, because I'm tired of all the groups. I'm out of that space where I was leading in a way where facilitating and, having to keep control of all the groups. It was like, and everybody not ready, I'm ready to move with the true ones in the true timeline that are really ready to align. And that is opening up for a new timeline on this bifurcation bridge. So for those who are really ready, it's time for us to make moves in this forward movement. And that is the ones who I will be sharing more information with. Even the Cosmos and Me ebook that I have not released. And this is a book that I've had held down for like 2 years. So I want to be able to have that community and then be able to have us bridge more into the 5th dimension for those who are really serious about getting off that old timeline. Those who are serious about detaching. Ashe. I see the name 5D time space documents for the calendar. Okay, 5D time space origination, where you safely document your mental and heart humility. Oh, I like that. Document. Maybe we call it docu something, time space, because the name is kind of long. So 5D time space document. Maybe we could call it time space docu, or we'll play with it. But I like that we're documenting, because that makes it active. It's not just a calendar where you go and you look. It's a tool. This 5D calendar is really a tool to invite you to be active in your own soul work, to be active in this bifurcation bridge, to be active in the timeline split. It's where you place yourself, and this helps you to do that. It helps to keep you accountable. And believe me, we need to keep ourselves accountable, because right now we got a lot of, as I'm looking at, I've been out here all rising all day, and when I tell you these 3D creatures, these lizards that I call 3D creatures, they've been active. They've been jumping from, going on my hammock, jumping from a part of the tree. Like, they are active. And why I'm saying that, because these little reptilians, these creepy crawlies, they represent the shadows of the 3D that are desperate energies doing desperate things to keep control, okay? Hence the celebration of the 250 years of their independence. That's not a true independence at all, but they want you to believe that they're still the top dog independent nation, so that you don't focus on you being a sovereign nation within your own scope, within your own right and will and might, and restore unto you, reclaim your divinations, your divine, and because they are all coming online. But these shadows, these little lizard lapping, lizard licking, whatever you want to call them, they're on a mission to distract you. Where they say the devil likes to kill, steal, and destroy. Those shadows that lurk, those fears that tell lies in the dark, they want to steal, kill, and destroy, which ultimately is they want to distract. They want to keep you distracted. So my question is, how willing are you to be distracted? And like I said, I can't speak for everybody else, but as for me and mine, we gonna keep to ourselves in this dimensional time within the months of the infinite nine that represents a spiritual completion in time. Ashe, wax on, wax off. I just heard the fly go around me. I'm like, wax on, buzz off. And this is what we got to do, wax on, wax off. And speaking of that, follow the moon phase, waxing moon, waning moon. It's going to guide you. For those who found this helpful, if you're interested in the next workshop that I'm doing, the next full moon workshop, it is the Divine Chakra Moon workshop where we are working. We're going to be alchemizing the frequencies. If anything that I said resonates with you and you want to tap into your soul codes, you want to unlock your soul codes, this is one of the ways that you do it. And everything that, all the tools that I give you in this workshop, you will be able to utilize it every time on your own. It's something I do every month. A pyramid transmutation to transmute the blocks in your lower chakras and transmuting them, coming up to transcending them into the heart, where we always land on the full moon. The new moon and the full moon, we're always on the heart, because the heart is where we wash it over in love and we transmute it and we transcend it. So if you're seeking, not even just seeking guidance, if you're just looking to do, to have accountability, because a lot of times the groups that I've had, they always say they like being in the groups because it helps to hold them accountable. When we do things together collectively, it helps to glue you to some type of accountability. And that's what you want to work with until you can get to the point of a strong self-discipline. A strong self-discipline of being accountable, ability to account for all the energy that's being held in account, whether you're aware of it or not. Ashe? So, with that said, I'm going to wrap it up because I've been here with y'all for quite some time. Thank you for those who came through. There's a lot that is happening. We could definitely chit chat on some more. I'll be sharing some more with you. Again, if you want any details on the moon, you can look that up in YouTube, a cosmic graduation. If you want a one-on-one in your natal chart, you can message me or email me at akilatextri@gmail.com. That's akilahtextri@gmail.com. And with that, you can also email me if you want to order the calendar. What else do we have? To sign up to register for the workshop if you have any questions on that. If you want a one-on-one spiritual consultation, as we are pioneering into the fifth dimension. Oh, hello, Blue Jay. All right, if you want any information within the 5D, I'm always willing to share. I'm accessible, but you can always get to me with the email. The email is, if you can't get me through messages, email me because I check them from time to time. Ashe. So welcome to those who have been here for the first time. We're welcome. Thank you for passing through, for sharing your gifts, your love and light, your heart meets, your roses, your intel and information. As I say, we sharing this. We're in this thing together. So with that, thank you. We're welcome. And until we see each other again, do your soul work because it's up to you. The only way out is to go within. So keep working on you from the inside out. Ashe, peace, love, and light.